There was always a sort of magic that plagued the air as the sun began to set on another tireless day. Although cliche, it was always one of those times to reflect on how the day had gone, the stress, the happiness, and all the in-betweens, all fading to a distant past. The midday scrambles and the evening rushes home had finally calmed, and the blanket of silence mopped up what remained of the light. There was nothing like the cold evening breeze to comfort the worries that the day entailed. What was the point? I whispered under my cold breath. What was the point of stressing so much about a situation that in the upcoming days will be forgotten by the prevailing tsunami of the next stress? A sudden heavy nostalgia swept over me. Where life before was all about beating the high score of Wii Sports Bowling, or where the biggest worry was which version of Pokemon should have been bought. A good walk will clear my mind, I gaslit myself into thinking. That was surely the point, right? You spend a day distracting yourself from what can only truly be yourself. These thoughts are so philosophical that it would make the average person run in fear, scared that you wouldn't shut up. There is always the polite gesture of, hey, how's your day? Expecting a response of, good, you? Any more and the other person would wish the question had never slipped their lips. As I walked around the all too familiar route that I took for an evening walk, the automatic lights began to turn on as if by magic. This was a sign that I should perhaps head back. As the sun had completely set, there were patches of light followed by areas of darkness where the street lights just could not reach. The silence of thoughts were disturbed once in a while by a car passing through, as the car lights bridged the distance between the areas where the streetlights could not reach. I stopped for a second to stare up at the vast sky, the majesty of which could not be comprehended. The touching sentiment of hope from the universe was quickly interrupted by a flickering shadow that I caught in the corner of my eye. You know that feeling, where you are certain that someone is watching you, but you cannot pinpoint the location of the watcher. I paced a few steps forward into the darkness, only to be greeted by a small silhouette. How silly. A slight grin creased my face. The cat looked youthful at first, although a slight limp can be observed for those that were paying closer attention. You look like you are thinking about a lot, said the cat. I smelt my breath for a second, wondering whether I had somehow consumed alcohol. Perhaps the long hours and constant pressures had finally gotten to me. I may have finally lost it. The cat stared blankly back, mirroring my reaction. Oi, it's rude to stare blankly after I've asked you a question. People these days have no respect. Sorry, I murmured, my voice catching the wind. I can help you out, said the cat. Perhaps this was a dream, or my imagination playing tricks on me. Whatever the case, I am, in the current state, being harassed by a talking cat. Sure, give me your wisdom, you youthful cat. I'm a lot older than you think, said the cat, slightly amused. I can impart my wisdom to a lost soul like yourself, the cat grinned, for a small price. Oh, I said. Do you want me to put down a deposit, sign a contract, invest in your crypto company? I giggled. The cat once again stared blankly, not understanding the sarcasm of the situation. I want a packet of crisps and a half-eaten apple. I pulled out the remainder of my lunch, which during the day I barely had enough time to eat, and handed it over. A bit of a weird request and coincidence that you would want these food items, I said. The cat giggled and dismissed a chance to respond. Look around you, the cat said. There seems to be very little life on these streets, especially at this time of night. Take it from a lonely cat. But look at the houses and flats that surround you. I looked around at the ordinary and mundane houses and tower blocks that surrounded the area. There was nothing unusual, no secrets left untold, no talking house to accompany the talking cat, just what you would see on a normal day-to-day. Maybe you need to get your eyes checked, said the cat. I gave a slight nod, pondering about nothing. What am I looking for? I said, with a tint of exasperation and a creeping feeling that perhaps I should have stayed home and had a hot chamomile tea under a warm blanket. There are so many lives happening all at once, From above, it's almost like looking at cells from a microscope, the cat said. So many different lives with their own joys, secrets, regrets, blues, and stresses. The cat paused. And to you, those emotions feel unique, like you're the only one facing them, you selfish bastard. Although I can't blame you, we are in the end facing the edge of a cliff by ourselves. We either fly or fall, and even though we in fact do have companionship along the way, the journey has to be taken alone. Right, I said. Did you get that from a self-help book? I paused. I want my half-eaten apple back. The cat purred. A light turned on in one of the blocks of flats, 3 floors up and 2 across. A window rolled up and the silhouette of a young woman appeared. From the hunched appearance and slumped shoulders, it seemed that her mind was far away from the present moment. You see, the cat said, when you are high above the streets and where you believe no one can see you, tears can roll freely and anger uncondemned. Next to the window, in a world of their own, was a greying couple dancing like the end of the world could happen at any time, dancing as though never having encountered a worry in their lives, dancing as a river naturally ebbs and flows. A window on the floor below was illuminated by the light of the television, reflecting the tired parents having quiet conversations, while the kids staring engrossed with a subtle nod to the parents whenever a question was murmured, perhaps about the school day, the work day, or the day-to-day. This was all so mundane. This was the normal repetitive cycle of life. A life, like a maze, would always be filled with wrong turns, hopes about the next corner, and a wide range of emotions which even a camera can capture. You can never understand the happy moments unless you feel the sad ones. Although, like breath on a mirror, emotions are fleeting and so are memories. That struck me, the number of stories that are told in a mundane life, like an iceberg where from the outside looking in, only a small speck of ice is visible. You done reminiscing? Your head looked like it was in the clouds, the cat said, breaking the thoughts that filled my head. Look further down. Most of the blinds are closed, said the cat. The lights of lives emanated through the blinds, where distortion of sound could be heard, never really knowing which window it came from. There was bickering, singing, silence and laughter, a confusing mix of colours in the night. So many lives, said the cat. You are but a snapshot, a window to the soul, an individual in mind but collective in thought. However, the cat smiled, this will mean nothing to you. The cat paused and turned away. I could give you the world, and you would just nod along. I nod along. The truth is, only through climbing the mountain, tripping multiple times, and continuing, will you find the route that you're looking for. I nod along. Perhaps the route is full of knocked down trees, but at times you'll find a clearing, a place to reflect about the journey, perhaps even crack a smile. The cat was now no longer bathed in the streetlight. Just remember, as the cat's voice began to merge with the wind, remember to pack hot water for the road. I hope you don't mind. I borrowed your debit card. I'll return it before you wake up. The cat purred one last time before silence once again filled the air. I'd better get home quickly, I told myself. The silence was once again interrupted as a drizzle of cold rain splashed onto my face. The next day I awoke to the same alarm beeping, the same morning routine, the same way I make the tea, 1 sugar and a splash of milk. It was early and the events of last night became distant. I checked my wallet and the debit card was still there. I laughed. What a strange dream, or perhaps a lack of sleep. Today was payday, and as I check my bank account, I see a strange outpayment for a luxury brand of canned tuna. When did I buy that? I said to myself. I nod, crack a smile, and get on with my day.